There's a lot of discussion about this matchup, and especially I think these two players in the group, because a lot of people are calling Clem and Armani. There's actually a bit of discussion about whether Clem or Armani was the underdog, and for me, it's kind of a tough one to call, because I feel like, yes, we've seen a lot of hype from Clem in the European scene, etc. But Armani's had a fair amount of, like, Armani's maybe not been hyped up by the people as much, but he's shown results to kind of, stand up for himself as well. I think Clem has maybe had it, obviously shown us a lot more. But I just didn't, I feel like it's hard to call either of them an underdog anyway, and especially comparing them to each other, because reality is they're both just really freaking good. Bottom left-hand side. Our red Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. On the top right, our blue Zerg is Armani. So first game of this ZVT. Again, kind of interested because Clem's TvZ yesterday looked fantastic, and I honestly feel like he was unfortunate not to at least win one of the series yesterday. The one against Rogue especially, but it does kind of, you do look at this, I think, and you say, well, I think Clem should be able to beat Armani, but man, the Korean Zerg players are looking sharp as ever. Armani, again, continues to look good. 6.8k MMR, by the way, right now in Korea. So Armani is killing it, and yeah, with that 6.8k, he convinced Pig to pick him as the last selection of the War Chest Team League, so we'll be seeing Armani in that. In fact, Pig's team will be opening the tournament on Friday. Make sure you tune into that on the YouTube, on the StarCraft YouTube, the official StarCraft YouTube. We'll be live streaming there. SCV of Clem going to the upper right-hand side and going to scout around. Hatchery on the natural is about to finish up. SCV around the right again. A few extra links continue to build, and very standard stuff so far. The Reaper will come across, and obviously just the hatchery first. No worry of Zerglings or anything across the map. So moving in, a few lings, a couple of drones to take some damage, as the lings will take some shots, and that drone goes over to the natural. And a couple of queens already building here. With the Reaper able to pick away at these Zerglings, doing a good job of this for the moment. The grenade, and that's just going to pop the queen up into the skies. As across the map, a marine already going to go on a bit of a patrol, and this overlord hanging around on the high ground, obviously just sat here and keeping an eye on what it does build. You do want to see Hellions, right? To maybe get a count on the Hellions. If you don't see Hellions at all, you may be worried about what the follow-up is. Comes in, he actually shows himself for a moment. Obviously no marines that are at the front yet, so you can just kind of sit there for the full vision of the wall. On just with that one worker in gas, so a mild gas income still after link speed finishes, and starboarding away from Clem. Really not too much to say across the board then. As you see this Reaper pushed out the front. Couple of queens getting here. Creep spread, continuing to push forward. Grenade goes down, couple of lings get bopped, and our Hellions are going to continue on the factory. So Hellions continuing out. Just going to be seeing the extra queens continue to come in, so queens continue to build. Oh, the ling gets picked off. A couple of Hellions get there. Zergling taken down. And now out to this right-hand side, we've got a Reaper and a couple of Hellions. Just poking away. I'm going to go Liberator. Going to get Stim early as well. I mean, very typical of Clem to play Bio. I guess what sort of style are we expecting to see from Armani on Everdream? We have seen... I mean, this is obviously going to be upgrades first, right? So he's going to go melee upgrades early. I wonder if then you don't go Spire and you just go for the Hydraless Den and you kind of go for the Hydras to kind of help hold. Armani is one of the Korean players who really did continue to use kind of Ling Hydra Lurker, which is what Raynor is now using very successfully in ZVT. So you could maybe look at that as an option. And actually, Armani used that to take a game off of Maru in WSG qualifiers or something along those lines. I'm just going to be seeing 1-1 melee upgrades continue to build there on the naturals. So getting that up and running, the engineering base continuing to set up. Just going to be seeing how Stimpack will continue through. Our Hellions up around the top side. A couple of creep teamers still coming out the front, and Liberator sets up on the right. Will get rid of a drone already, so picks off the first drone right there. Spore and the Queen to help out. And his Hellions starting to push through. That's going to be a grenade to pop the Queen to the side. And the Queen still targeting the Liberator. Liberator will go down, so Liberator falls. And as our melee upgrades continuing in on the Evo Chambers too. Baneling Nest and Lair continuing to build, and it's the Lair finishing that really tells us about what is going to be next, right? The Lair that's going to be, you know, do you just see Purling Bane? Do we see the Meters? Do we see the Hydras? At the moment, Clem will set up some siege tanks, and that means his first push will be supported by 2 or 3 tanks. There was this map yesterday. Clem chose to go for an 8 Raxon and was very aggressive and doing a fantastic job of it until he messed up a little bit of control and lost his army to a few Banelings, and then the game spiraled from that point onwards. So I wonder if he'll go for a similar setup again. Maybe depends a little bit on what Armani does, right? If he feels like there's an opportunity. I mean, this is already the forward 4th base, so that might promote the idea of going up to 8 racks early. Zerg continues through, and the Hellions are going to get that Ling picked off right away. Again, creep team is continuing in. Armory is setting up from Clem at the front. It's just going to be seeing a Hydralist den building, so it is going to be the Hydras. Like I said, that doesn't really surprise me much, and that should mean we don't see an 8 rack. It's very hard to 8 racks against Hydralists. It's very hard to 8 racks against Hydralists because the Hydras are just so good defensively on the ground. You know, compared to Mutalisks, which are kind of this unit which don't do good in straight up fights. So yeah, definitely just expecting Clem to kind of go for his more kind of typical and more preferred 4-base setup. Tanks will siege, Marines stem forward, and already these creep tumors dropping very quickly. So quite a few creep tumors picked off already. The Ling's going to go back up through the middle of the map. Lings and Banes into the center. A few extra Banes morphing in. Tanks will siege, and just going to start firing up onto those spore crawlers. The Banes thinking about maybe coming down the ramp there. Tanks are good to provide coverage there. There's a full surround setup to go, though. I mean, the big question is you don't have Bane speed here as Armani, so how many of these Banes can he get rid of as Clem? Kind of eats the shot there. The tank fire gets rid of the last few, but it would have been too late to protect the Marines. Roof spines building on the Hydra Den. The upgrades coming in to make those that little bit more powerful. As the next step of this, I mean, there's a bunch more Hydras come out here. We'll see Clem back around the bottom side. Infestation Pit is already on the way down, so again, not surprising. I expect a Lurker Den as well. I'd be very surprised if this didn't go into Lurkers for Armani. And whenever you see Hydras lately, that seems to be kind of the next step. And like I said, he has been a player I've seen doing that in the past. So if he just goes up to Hive, I mean, you could get it into Vipers initially. You usually see that Lurker Den Infestation Pit coming in sync. Big run by into the natural. Units in the main as well. And they are doing very well. And it's obviously stopping Clem from continuing to pressure through the middle of the map. So now you're actually going to be seeing these Lings continue to run through, and they're going to go for the siege tank. Gets picked up. See these other Marines going down as well, as our Banes won't do much here. Clem continue to control well in the center, having picked off a lot of the creep tumors. Great effort by Clem in the middle. Again, a shame that he's being denied so much mining there on the natural, but I mean, well handled considering the issue, you know, the problem. You know, once it happened, it's, you know, you can't really go back and be like, well, you shouldn't have let it happen. He handled it very well from the point of, oh, I messed up and let the run by in. There's our Lurker Den. So the Lurker Den is actually going to be in sync with the Hive, so the Lurker Den will finish and the Lurker upgrades can begin pretty much straight away. SCVs going down, a few more Lings coming in. So again, like that, Armani's keeping the kind of aggression up on the other side, right? Continuing to run by. Look how many units Clem just has over here. Has not reinforced this army in the center for a long time. Unfortunately for Armani, he's not really been able to clean up anything in the center. So despite no reinforcements, it still is holding that position and holding the creep spread back. And again, now we're at a stage where we can obviously see Lurkers being added. The high, you know, and Vipers could come through as well. We'll get into this kind of stage. We expect to see that kind of stuff coming in. There's a few Lings on the bottom side. Banes rolling through the center. Hydra's pushing it as well. This is now going to be the cleanup as a couple of Banes get sniped down already. Some other Zerglings being picked off. Green's trying to stem through, trying to catch those queens. Will not be successful. Bane Hydra back around the right. A hatchery top side, hatchery to the far side. I mean, double expanding, going to get up to 6 bases all of a sudden. Clem has been focused in the middle and trying to, push through to get damage done. Again, he has got a 4th base behind us, and Clem very happy to accept the macro game. 5th base start, and he's only on 5 racks, so he really hasn't kind of, built up into that extra production that you might expect him to have done by now. Even after the 4, usually after 4 bases, you go into the 8 racks if you don't beforehand, but now he's actually going to be on 5 CCs and still just the 5 racks, so hopefully that doesn't mean he's missing out on production he might need at a later stage. Like this, changing the directions, trying to drop the bottom right, setting up the tanks around the top, but still good positioning from Armani, not letting him break any location. And now with the lurkers coming up, it's going to become very, very difficult, I think, for Clem to really be aggressive in any position, because those lurkers are going to do such a great job at holding locations. I mean, defensively speaking, they are pretty much the best units you can get. Clem controlling the creep spread still, sees the lurkers, so does get a bit of a pre-warning about it. Knows that they are there now, and instantly when he sees the lurkers, he goes into the Ghost Academy. So he wants to get that Ghost count running. This is kind of Clem's go-to for dealing with lurkers, right? You get the Ghost count up, you can set up some snipes while other units sit in the front and take a couple shots. Because it's the one reliable way to really get rid of those lurkers, because then you don't have to run full force into all of them. You can just snipe the few in the front. A lurker Viper combo though is very dangerous, because now already you've seen them ducks on the tanks. Another reason you want those ghosts out, because then you can hit EMPs on the Vipers, and that could be that really has looked to be essential in dealing with this composition effectively as of late. The last few times we've seen it. So Clem, I love this drop. He actually takes a good fight into the main base with it, so he gets a good bit of damage done. He opens up this attack on the bottom side. His lurkers get in position here, and oh no way is that one in range of the tank. The range of the lurkers when they get that upgrade is crazy, but there's no support for them, so the lurkers can be stemmed into, and Clem is going to finally find this base on the bottom right. Great split map play from Clem as he goes to the top with one army, and if he had a scanner was better split, he might have been able to push in there for the lurkers too, but that was not the case. Yeah, great effort from Clem to take down that bottom right base. Really required him to do a lot here. Required the drop in the main, pull units way out of position, but he was rewarded for it. As now we're flying command centers everywhere, right? Clem is accepting, right, this is going to go into the late stages of the game. And he is setting up for that right from the start. Bio pulling back through the center. Tanks turn and demolish a handful of banelings right from the start. 3-3 upgrades continuing on the way from Clem as well. So he's going to have that upgrade advantage for himself on the missiles. But it's actually funny because Armani was so fast on his own melee upgrades. It's very rare you see the Zerg on 3-3, while the Terran's still just on 2-2. Oh my god, this medevac, don't tell me he gets away with this siege tank. He turned too soon. Maybe he had to turn. Anyway, as he pushes down here, these lurkers have caused trouble for Clem before. He's going to get rid of them pretty quick this time. More lurkers showing up pretty swiftly though. He dodges away from the lurker shots, picking up some of the spines in the stack defense there. Now in range of the drones. Getting an extractor, and with the supporting tanks, the lurkers can't just go pushing forward straight into that, but there are the Vipers to maybe change that scenario. Lurkers going to unsiege as the blinding clouds on top of the tanks. They can't do anything now. Those tanks are going to get cleaned up with Clem really missing the ghosts now, right? That's where, a couple of EMPs could have gone a long way. He loses 5 FCVs and depots to the bottom as the Banes crash in. There the ghosts finally showing up, but again, really needed those already, especially against those couple of blinding clouds, because if you get rid of those blinding clouds, Armani can't make the move to clean that up. With the blinding clouds, different story. Ghosts line up the snipes and will be able to clean up those couple lurkers effectively, and again, that's one of the uses of the ghosts here that we'll be seeing as this game continues. The Vipers showed up for a moment. Big counterattack from Armani. Just says, well, don't really feel like you've got the units back here to deal with this. Here the Lings reinforcing do go through the center though, and they get picked off quickly. As the Ghost trying to stand up for itself is just not going to survive. All the Lings go down, running out of banelings, and just the Hydras remaining. I mean, you can line up some snipes as they try to leave. I mean, you're going to one-shot the Hydras, which is a good trade. Now he's actually going to keep on fighting. The snipes keep coming in. Hydras aren't cheap units. They're expensive as the Lurker's running into a siege tank, but going down. I mean, the tank trades out for a Lurker too, and that ain't bad. And again, with Armani getting sniped down, he really doesn't have much left at all. Clem is just 360 no-scoping anything and everything he sees. I mean, the ghosts are drained of energy from snipes alone almost. That's actually a really difficult thing to do. That's how much he's killed with that. Source's loss doesn't tell you too much of a difference so far, but Clem has been doing great in terms of making the economy manageable, you know, by shutting down this base here and, you know, being able to expand persistently himself. Not stopping with that. I mean, there are CCs just everywhere right now, so he's also got replacement command centers able to go somewhere or relocate if required. Maybe not as planetaries, but let's push forward here. The Ghost, obviously, not able to do much right away. Now they line up a couple of snipes. The Blinding Cloud comes in. Ghost escape through the middle of the map, and that's always going to be that kind of scary position. Tank's doing a great job on the Banelings. Ghosts do survive. The Vipers did get pretty much all of their casts off, though. Some final snipes to get rid of Overseers. And something else that you, again, just have to rebuild. So it is an investment. It is a cost from Armani. That fight was about 600 resources lost, worse for Armani than it was for Clem. So, you know, as Clem, I think that's okay, but you'd probably want to be a little bit more efficient. Problem is, those lurkers make it tough. And these lurkers have been here for an eternity. I don't know if Armani's forgotten about them, or they're on hold position, just waiting for the Terran army to run over them. But, I mean, you're talking about 7 lurkers. You know, just leaving 7 lurkers behind is a big risk to not be using them. Okay, he unburrows them now. He's going to make an aggressive play with them instead. I mean, there's not actually a lot over here when you consider there's going to be the units coming in. Vipers? It feels like Clem just didn't find himself the chance to drop down the required kind of EMP, but it was absolutely possible. Right? There was, you know, Vipers were stacked. The Ghosts were right there. They had the energy. Surprised Clem doesn't find that. Was maybe worried about these lurkers making their way forward, but a few of them are getting picked off by the siege tanks that are just left at home. Clem might get this forward base. I mean, the gas already mined out on it. The Ghosts are going to split. Ghosts great at tanking lurker as Baneling shots. They're just that little bit tankier, right? So splitting those Ghosts up goes well. And now Lings are just trying to stream into this, but Clem is just going to sit and fight. I mean, this is a fight you just don't really win it from Armani until it comes at great cost. And actually, in the end, he only really cleans the units out because he starts fighting the Lings to kill down the hatchery. There was a lot of Lings that ran in there before they were able to shut that down. Liberator's now here helping to play defensively. You're just going to run lurkers around the map, and the Liberator is a perfect solution to that because lurkers obviously can't shoot up. They can't fight back in that way. Liberator gets taken down on the top side. Medevac from Clem loads up and going to boost back around down the south. Another command center getting going. Clem will land in orbital. Liberator just going to siege up once again. Lurkers back away. Hydras and Vipers. I'm just wanting to move into the planetary forest there as the Lings go running forward. Viper taking some damage, going to get shot down by a missile turret. Still no EMPs before the blinding clouds are down. Planetary forest cleaned out. Does Clem have enough? I mean, there's not that many Banes left. It's mostly just Hydras. If you just have enough bio, you push this back, but that's not the case just yet. The Ghost trying to get some snipes. As they're cloaked up trying to fight it, the Lurkers making another play on the left side of the map at the same time. We've also got Liberators dealing damage. There's action absolutely everywhere, and Clem is going to get some Hydras on the exit, and the supplies come out pretty much even. Clem and Armani both keeping enough army supply alive as well. Finally, those Lurkers handled, and that takes away a big part of what Armani was trying to do on the left side. He's going to go running in. He wants to take this orbital command out, but I'm not sure you can really do that. I mean, honestly, the Lings, they just don't last very long in this fight. Marines and Ghosts clean them up so quick, and you already saw the Ghosts weren't even bothering with the Lings. They were lining up snipes on the Hydras already. More Infestors on the way. I say more Infestors. First Infestors of the game on the way out, and that obviously means Armani realizing he maybe needs a little bit extra. Infestors are great against Ghosts. If you can get the fungal off, it will mean they take damage over time, and damage cancels the snipe. So it basically nullifies a lot of what the Ghosts are wanting to do here. So I don't mind the addition of a couple of Infestors, and it's also a very gas-intensive unit. So you look at Armani's bank, and it makes sense that he wants to get some spellcasters, some efficient units out to make better use of what he's got at the moment. I like the Infestors for multiple reasons then, as you do see Clem re-establishing on the south 6 o'clock position. Let's move an orbital to the upper left. We'll see how that works. We already have Banes are going to line up to hit this mineral line. Yeah, it's kind of a weird position because the tank is here, but the tank won't see the Banes until they run down the ramp, so it's going to be pretty close to the planetary by then anyway. Don't actually know how well that goes as the SCVs here fighting some Lings. Tank and planetary. Yeah. Still gets quite a few SCVs, right? And there's a lot of them stacked up in the corner there, so... A couple drones. In that bottom right, getting picked off too. 20 minutes deep on Everdream, game 1 of this TvZ between Clem and Armani. Important series as the players do trail in the group, so if they want any chance of advancing, it's definitely on the kind of the must-win list this series, as he gets rid of the Infest as well. I mean, that's 4 Infests for what? I want to say even not even that Ghost going down. Yeah, we'll tank some Baneling shots. It's a lot of Banelings though. There's not a lot of splash damage to deal with. If there's one good counter to Ghost, it's just making so many Banes that you can't really get rid of them in time. These Banes are going to crash in as Clem splits away. Armani money to spend on the Remax. Does Clem survive this? I think so. It's close, right? I mean, look at the units he's got up here though. Gonna get blinding clouded. The EMP's a little late, but it will be good to follow up. But he loses the planetary. Keeps a lot of the SCVs alive at least. To benefit, will run this Zerg into burrow, so that's a scan that needs to be spent. Even if he does get it right away, it still slows you down. Armani going to try and expand up to the top left side as these players continue to duel over bases. I mean, so much of this matchup now is about who can deny bases better than the other guy, right? If you can deny your opponent from mining, that's going to be, you know, maybe be the difference of him rebuilding off the next fight or not. I love Armani's rotation here to deny this base. As long as they're going to keep moving through, but at the same time, Clem's across the map, and there's nothing here from Armani to defend this. Clem's kind of forcing a base trade. I don't mind it, because I actually look at Clem's army supply, and I think it's way better. I mean, Armani has money that he's just not spending again. 1k, 1k in the bank. Does he have the lava? He doesn't have lava, so he's struggling to keep up with injects, apparently, later into this game. This queen full of energy. He needs to go and, you know, drop, like, you know, shift Q injects on these bases. How many queens has he got? He's only got 3. And they're running around. They're going over here to spread creep. I mean, it's actually an issue, right? Because he is getting into moments of this game where he just can't produce because of lava. So a couple extra queens and actually injecting would not go amiss. A few injects can absolutely solve that issue, because it's not like he's just building pure Ling Bane. There are still some hydras and stuff in production too. I feel like this is a misclick Cyclone, which is going to... He's surprisingly useful at helping to clean this up. Nice dodging of the lurker spines here. Even the little bits of micro from Clem. 23 minutes deep. Look at this, man. I was looking at Clem's army. I was like, man, this looks kind of scary. And then I look down over here and we see another force of this. He actually is adding multiple cyclones into play. Interesting. No mag field accelerator or anything, though. Actually... Yeah, that's a fun one, as you're going to see these Banes rolling down this ramp, splitting back. Marauders are going to get blown up. I mean, Orbital Command is in some trouble right from the start. Has to lift up. No surprises about that. But, of course, it's an expensive trade from Armani. And you can just see, I think, with every fight that Armani's army is coming out a little bit worse for wear. The thing is, this time he doesn't really trade out with any army of Clem at all. So while he kills 15 SCVs, Clem is still... Well, Clem is just now 50 army supply up on him. So... I think at this stage, Clem could realistically go across the map and deny some bases and get more done. Marauder drop setting up, a couple extra libs on the way. Yeah, I wonder what the intention is with the Cyclones, because I feel like if you're going to use them to shut down lurkers, you get mag field. I mean, getting locked on to Vipers isn't exactly easy in kind of the larger fights. It's way easier to just use the ghosts you've already got. So I'm not sure if there's an immediate decision on the... an immediate reason on the Cyclones. That's something I'm going to have to ask Clem about, because, again, you make 3 of them and it doesn't feel like a mistake, right? Look to the bottom side. Banelings are going to start morphing in. 13 Banes on the way up, plus 3 missiles. About to complete on this evolution chamber. Pushing through. A couple of these blinding clouds going to land, and... Army splits up. A lot of Ling Bane being picked away at here. Fire continues strike. Gets sniped from the Vipers. Very difficult to replace at this stage. The Lurkers really own this position, though. Obviously, you just can't fight through that choke point. As Clem is still moving an army to the top side, and that's one of the more terrifying parts of Clem's play as well, right, as this Cyclone just runs into its death, is that he's got just, you know, he's so good at having two armies at the same time, and he's always looking to make plays with them. His lurkers make a real deep dive, and you can, you know, really tell at this point that he feels the need to get something done. These Banes crash in, but there's just the lurkers left. He's losing the base in the top. Armani's supply is trailing Clem's by about 20 or so. This hatchery is going to fall. As orbital goes down, the bio will get a few extra Zerglings at the end of this here. I think this is about it, right? I mean, Clem has barely any SCVs, but he's just got an army that can't really be handled. His lurkers from Armani are going to go running home, but he's already losing base after base, so it's not like, you know, Armani has 61 workers, but he's barely going to be mining anything because he has nowhere to mine from. Let's see if Shank will fall. Probably might have taken down a Hydra with him as he went, but apparently not. Anyways, again, you look at this army of Armani, and it's a handful of Hydras, a handful of lurkers, even less Zerglings. I mean, he's also just going to be missing production as well if he keeps losing bases. Clem scans, sees the bottom right being taken. This all-out warfare on Everdream is coming to a conclusion as this hatchery is going to be Armani's last point of mining. So again, if you look at the income graphs, you can see Clem's been owning it despite the lack of workers because he's just shut down a lot of the bases. Of this as well, even building a new CC so you can try and planetary up maybe the bottom side. Not sure where he's going to take it, but that should be the intention. There's just no money to make Banelings anymore. There's barely any Zerglings to make Banelings. Well, those changelings going down. The army of Armani up the right-hand side. Still Marine picking away at this extractor. Armani types out GG, and Clem will take the first map of this best of 3, going up 1-0 in the series. What a second map here, going to be Golden Wall, leading the series in the bottom right-hand side after 25+ minutes. For a red Terran player from Team Liquid, it is Clem. And the top left, bottom left-hand side, apologies, Blue Zerg is Armani. What a series. If you watch this on YouTube, then hello, hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you liked it. Some very fun games here in these early stages of the Douyu Cup still. I mean, this is Group C. We still have Group D and then multiple playoff days to be played out as well. So, yeah, huge stuff. Thank you so much, Alistair Ashbury, for the 2-month Twitch Prime resub as well, by the way. Appreciate it. As we go into our second game here on Golden Wall. I mean, honestly, a map where you could kind of see the same thing. The lurker style works here as well. There's definitely multiple ways you can push with lurkers. There's definitely harassment options. The only thing I would say about this is sometimes the mutas can do great on this map because of their harassment on the gold-based mineral line. And in general, it can be a good map for those kind of earlier mutalist openings. So, definitely some potential on that. SCV up into the main, seeing what's going on. Couple of queens on the way down from Armani. Lings in production. This Overlord of Armani already around up the top side with the Reaper of Clem heading across to the natural expansion. So Reaper heading across over to the left-hand side. And there is our factory building, our reactor on the main base. Just going to be seeing a couple of queens, link speed coming up. A lot of this getting ready to go. Game 2 of the best of 3. Yeah, getting set up into this as this Reaper kind of hangs back, drops a grenade. A little bit of back and forth right there. Again, in this group right now, there's still some possibilities, I believe. Even though it's looking pretty dismal for Clem. If he can win this, he also has to play a part. And if he can win those 2 matches, there is a world in which he can still advance. It would come down to Sterile delivering in his series, more or less. So Sarah would have to win all of his matches, and then I believe Clem has to win. Probably would have to go 2-0 here. But Clem is set up to do that because he's also in a position where his map score, even though he's lost a bunch of games so far, he's always taken a map, right? So his map score is as good as it can be for the position he's in. So, yeah, Clem absolutely everything to fight for. And same for Armani. As Armani will actually play his final match after this against Cyril. Just a quick rundown of what's coming up as we see the stim pack with a Viking this time around from Clem. Viking very nice on Golden Wall, a map where you often see those Nidus attacks and so on. And this is the fast lair from Armani, so likely to see a Spire off the back of this, and obviously very different from what was the double upgrades in the last game to give him that, good set of upgrades throughout. So, a different approach to it this time around as you just see our Baneland Nest about halfway done. Aliens in the center. Spire is building from Armani. It's going to see that Bane Nest finishing up. A few extra Banelings morphing on the natural expansion. Really being safe. He's afraid that this is going to be a Hellbat attack. So making those Banelings, that's an investment. That's 125 gas early in the game that you didn't really need to make. So yeah, Armani gets some Banes up and he's super afraid. Man, he is completely convinced that this is not a Hellbat opener. And it is not. It is anything but. So Armani's making a lot of investments right now that he really does not need. This Spine Crawler, these Banelings. He's actually going to let the Spine Crawler finish too. Wow. Armani is playing super safe. As he gets the Spire up, he's just really afraid. I mean, it is maybe popular on Golden Wall to go for these Hellbat attacks because the Spire play is so common, and that's what really kind of punishes the early Spire. Aliens continuing to fight, picking away at the hatchery. So hatchery is taking a few shots of damage there. 1-1 upgrades. Combat shields continuing up. Back down into the middle. 7 Mutalisks continuing to build as we have 1-1 upgrades. Combat shields coming through. Our medevac setting up. And again, it's just very standard from Clem, right? I mean, the Viking into a Liberator. Liberator gets a kill before he gets cleaned up. And Clem not trying to keep that alive even. I mean, I guess he just sees the mutas and he's like, well, it's going to get chased down anyway, so just keeps it there, denies mining as long as possible. Things to be just dying, +1 flyer attack on the Spire. The extra drones all coming into play. 1-1 upgrades, combat shields. All of that coming through as the Marines get there to push the mutas back. A couple of Widow Mines in production as well. So they are going to be popping out as our mutas get to the gold base. This medevac is a little bit on its own. Just goes down. So those melee upgrades building up from Armani here. And just going to be seeing the Viking firing a few shots, picking away at the Mutalisks. All of SCVs will get picked off already as well, so again, these mutas just doing what they can, but with the Viking back here, the Marines, Widow Mine or so, it's going to be tough to really get much done. First of all, a few of these Marines, he should lose a Mutalist, surely. He's going to lose, not the one I expected him to lose, but he does lose one. Obviously, the advantage of this is you're going to have Bane speed as well to help deal with an attack, even though your upgrades are later. Talking about upgrades, I don't see an armory, guys. Unless I'm very blind. So Clem is going to be without 2-2 for a while here. That's a major mistake. So that's going to bring the upgrades to be pretty much even in terms of timing. So Clem loses a lot of what could have been his, upgrade advantage. Still staying active here. Goes Clem across the map, so looking to strike with that 1-1. Now it's completed, and well, how close are we to 1-1 of the Zerg? 30 seconds. Don't think anything happens, especially pulling back to fight the mutas. Don't think anything happens before that. Clem can morph these Hellions to Hellbats, though. So many Banelings ready to go. As the scans with some creep initially. We'll see those first few units. Now, the Spine Crawler from earlier in the game is Gonna fall. Armani actually loses an Overlord to get supply blocked. Well, the mutas are on the way back to help with this as well. It is necessary as Clem continues to clean out creep spread. Very well pre-split. He's got a lot of Widow Mines set up as well. Yeah, I like it for Clem. He needs to split these Marines away, and he is getting a little bit clumped up. I think he went just a bit too far to the left, especially when he has so many units still around over here. Seems like he just went a little bit too far over that left-hand side, but doesn't go too badly in the end. He recovers it. He's able to respond, lifting and saving some units. Second factory about to finish, so we should also see that fourth command center. And look how many units Clem has in terms of reinforcements that just aren't across the map yet. So Armani is trailing a bit in army supply for the moment. Needs to try and fight back with that as 2-2 upgrades continuing in our Marines. They're going to go back around the left as that Widow Mine finishes up. The screen's getting picked up. The Ling Bane trying to move down, and again the rest of this from Clem. Cross over the left-hand side. Bane's trying to crash in, hitting into a few Marines. The rest of these Lings from Armani over to the far right. This medevac loads up. Bunch of Marines moving forward. Another Widow Mine will burrow as the Zerglings are going to go up into the natural. Widow Mines burrowing up as well as the Lings run into the natural mineral lines, doing a little bit more. SCVs continue to drop. He will have his fourth base cancel. This is a really nice counterattack from Armani. It's pulling Clem's army back home as well. It's exactly what he needs, right? To buy himself some breathing room. And especially because he cancels the fourth CC, it really slows down Clem's next stage of the game. Got taken down. Mutas are here picking away at a lot of SCVs already. 17, 18, 19 workers going down. Just get pushed off to the side. Marines are here. Hatchery taking damage. Banelings want to roll into this. Nice save. Definitely feels like Clem has fallen into some trouble. Still has a massive army supply, but it only takes a few decent Baneling connections to fix that. The Widow Mine's doing a job as they get left behind. They're picking away at some Mutalisks. Clem, man, look at this. Sniper in one drop of units, getting all of the Banelings he can. Lifts up, goes to this high ground. Even if he just gets a couple more kills, he's brought units out of position, so now he's pushing through. He's going to threaten the natural. A must-respond location from Armani. Sets off a Widow Mine Armani, but there's so many Widow Mines to fight through. He's going to start losing Overlords. He's going to be supply blocked again. So many Widow Mines. A Thor here as well. This is a terrifying position. Armani has to go. Clem needs to send these units up on the high ground as the Banes make their way to the natural expansion. 14 drones lost already. These Marines, they do just kill enough of the Balins in time. Oh, that was scary. Felt like they were going to get crashed on into. Doesn't happen though as the Thor picks it away at a few extra Banes. The mutas will all go down. And Clem is going to take a huge army supply advantage. He's going to take a 2-0 here. A much needed 2-0 if Clem wants to keep his hopes of advancing out of this group alive. GG's and well played by Clem in the series.